Hello there, and thank you so much for tuning in to CAC TV. Today, this is Transforming Families, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Kaulu, and I'd ask you to get to the end of this program with us. Of course, interact with us on our social media pages. Facebook and YouTube is CAC TV Kenya. Leave your comments and questions, and we will get to them. Well, today we are talking about how to deal with a heartbreak in a healthy way, because we are hurting as individuals, as families, as the society as well. And that is why we have brought this topic on board. And with me today is Professor Catherine Gashuda, who is a counseling psychologist as well as the director of Kenya Institute of Business and Counseling Studies. Thank you so much, Prof, for being here. As usual, such a delight to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Talking about issues that affect families, affect individuals, so that they can find health. Yes,
indeed, and that's true. And helping us with the Prof is Reverend Edward Karanja, who is a minister with the Presbyterian Church of East Africa, as well as a marriage and family therapist. Thank you so much, Reverend, for being here. Always an honor to have you.
Thank you very much, Faith. Indeed, it's such an honor to have both of you here in this Transforming Families program. And like we always say here in CAC TV in Transforming Families, stable families for a stable society. And so that's why we are here this evening, to explore how one can gain stability in moments of hurt.
Yes, exactly. You have hit the nail on the head.
Thank you.
And even as we are talking about a heartbreak and a heartache, and we want to talk about this discussion, I think let's start by setting the base, you know, and mentioning in what instances can someone experience a heartbreak. Because automatically for me, when someone tells me, hey, I have a heartbreak, I think they have been left. You know, in Nairobi we say they have been character development. This is where a dude or a lady that you think you are in a relationship with leaves you, and you're like, okay, I was alone. So that's a character development. So for me, definitely my mind goes there. But then in what other instances or situations then can an individual have an heartbreak, Prof?
right. There are many instances where one can feel, I am hurt. I feel betrayed. I didn't expect that. And I don't know how to pick up myself from where I am. When one's heart is broken, is when you're paining very deeply. And you're paining deeply because it's like a communication has been made. You don't matter. Or that is how you are seeing it. That you don't matter and you're not important. And some words that come in one's mind is, maybe I'm like garbage. I am not important. I am a waste of space. That's the communication that has been made to me. And a heartbreak can come not only from romantic relationships, but from relationships that matter to oneself. And when there is a betrayal, when you've been treated inappropriately, then your heart can be broken in feeling, well, I have not been treated with kindness, I have not been treated with fairness, I have not been given consideration. I don't know whether I'll ever seek relationships again.
Heartbreaks are mainly as a result of a loss. The heartbreaks come because you experience some loss, some positive energy gone out of you. You have invested in a relationship so much, then you lose it, so there is a great loss and you feel pain. You have invested in a job, you are employed, you have been putting in all your effort in that job, you've put your best mind in it, then they tell you your services are no longer needed. You know, there's some energy you've put in there, there's a great loss, so that there is that pain. So the heartaches come in because of that such like loss. It may not, relationships may not necessarily be romantic relationships. It could be even relationships you have invested maybe with, same-sex people or friends somewhere, and you have put your all, then someone betrays you there and you feel real bad because this is something you have put in so much energy and you feel a loss. So mainly the heartbreaks will come because of a loss that has been experienced. Sometimes even, you'll hear people have gotten heartbreaks because of a nation, even a country.
Yeah.
A country that probably you love so much and you have put in a lot, you have gone to the queue to elect a leader because probably you looked into their credentials and you thought, here I have a leader.
Yeah.
Now you have spent a whole day in the queue to elect them. Then tomorrow the same leader does something so bad and you are like, you get into a heartbreak because you have lost. You even lost confidence. You lose confidence in that person because you are putting energy in that person. Heartbreaks come even in matters of faith. You have faith in something so much that that which you had faith in or the person you had faith in, then they let you down.
Okay.
It could be now maybe your child. It could be a school. It could be a place you have entrusted maybe someone with your child or even at home, maybe you have a worker you have entrusted your child with and then they do something, maybe you have remunerated them well, and they do something bad, you feel the loss.
Yeah.
Because you trusted the person. Probably someone has taken advantage of you. You feel loss of time. You have lost time, you have lost finances, you have lost your energy, and you get heartbreaks. So heartbreaks are in many, many sectors of life. So, almost everywhere we walk around. Yes.
So we should not disregard someone who says they have a heartbreak just because a romantic relationship has not ended. So we say, Pony, what are you talking about? A heartbreak can be experienced from so many things.
Yes, and you never ever get used to a heartbreak. So one is in a romantic relationship and the relationship ends. Don't just dismiss them, telling them, walk, move on. No. It is painful. They have invested there emotionally. It is painful to lose it. And that's why I always advise people, and please viewers, it is important to seek help. Go for counseling service. Even when you think probably, I'll get over this, I'm strong, I'll get over this. But every time you sit around, when you remember that thing, you lose a heartbeat, you better go and sit down in a therapy session to be able to address that particular concern.
Yeah, no one should be dismissed simply because they are saying, my heart is broken because I elected a person and this person is not delivering what I expected that they are going to deliver. Because heartbreak is about not trusting again. You can imagine when people become very mistrusting, they already have a distorted personality. And rather than moving forward, they are moving backwards. Rather than giving you positive energy, they are giving you negative energy. So those kind of people should not be dismissed. Because we are saying they are feeling diminished. They are feeling dismissed. They are feeling diminished. They are not feeling like they have the energy to do the things that they used to do before. And so you can see people's resourcefulness is not going to be apparent. It's not going to be there. They are not going to apply themselves again. Because we are talking about an investment. That they invested into something. They invested into somebody. And there is nothing to show for it. And in actual fact, what has happened, you have felt blasted. So that kind of a person is a person who is not going to be there for themselves and there for other people, and probably the decisions they are going to make after that are going to be decisions that are not going to be rational. So this person cannot be ignored.
And that, especially because you mentioned about the issue of election choice thrice. I don't know whether leaders know how much they break the hearts of people. I don't know whether, and I hope someone can listen to it. I don't know how much they know how they break the heart of people, And you may find even an electorate that is defranchised, whereby people are not even coming out to elect as much, people are not enthusiastic about politics, because over and over you had people, they try to take care of their hearts. And so as you take care of your heart, you block. So if electing a leader is what is making me feel pain and get a heartbreak, I stay away from them. Because I have tried an educated fella, they have failed me. I've tried an uneducated fella, they have failed me. So you sit back there wondering, so who do I trust? Maybe you have tried a believer in your faith, in your religion, they have failed you. You have tried an unbeliever, they have failed you. So you sit there and you wonder, who else do I trust?
Yeah.
So, and it's not a very comfortable place to be in. Heartbreaks are heartbreaks.
So when we talk about a heartbreak, which is also called a heartache, how do then the symptoms, what are the symptoms? Are they physical, are they emotional, psychological? When someone comes to you, how can you say, you know what, you're heartbroken? How can you tell, Prof?
The symptoms of the heartache or even the heartbreak.
Yeah.
Someone feels sad at an emotional level. You are angry. How could he have done that to me? How could they have done that to me? That betrayal. You're feeling frustrated. You're feeling stressed. From a physical level, you have a headache. You can even be having aches everywhere in your body. From a more mental level, you're confused. You're very conflicted. You don't know how to think about this individual because this is an individual you trusted. This is an individual you entrusted yourself to. But an individual who has not taken care of you the way you expected them to take care of you. So at the mind level, you're thinking, I feel betrayed, I do not want to trust people anymore. And from a more behavioral level, you want to stay alone. You're pulling away from people. You are isolating yourself. You are withdrawing from people. You are irritable with people. You are cynical with people. And people are thinking, what is making you to be so cynical and so sarcastic? What is making you to talk the way you're talking, like you want to injure somebody? So from a behavioral level, someone may get to that level where you're not taking care of other relationships. At a spiritual level, the symptoms will, I have no faith anymore.
I like that. You're touching even on the spiritual.
Yeah, I have no faith anymore.
Yeah.
I do not have meaning and purpose of investing in relationships. I am apathetic when it comes to relationships. I don't want to invest anymore, and I don't want to talk about them anymore. So in all those aspects, you will see a person who has changed, and you can ask, what has happened to you? Because the way you're talking, the way you're behaving, your values have changed. There is something that is very dramatic that has changed about you.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Thank you. I think for me, you have touched on each and every area, and even to touch on the spiritual, because most times we see changes in people, and we say, they used to be a believer, now they're not, and we don't know what has happened. Could be a heartbreak. Yeah. Rev, you have something to say?
Yeah, I wanted to add what Pro has said about the symptoms of a heartbreak. For the person who is going through the heartbreak, as opposed to me as a therapist looking at them, because it's good for one to assess themselves and know that I need help. Because by the time an outsider notices the physical challenges you're going through, you may have gone through, beyond the stress to the depression area, whereby now you might almost be headed to rehabilitation. Yet you'd have been helped on an earlier stage. And one of the things is that if, for example, something hurts you and it's about losing your job, you may find yourself everything you're talking about it. You're telling everyone who even is not part of that company. You know, like you have been conned some money by someone, or someone has hurt you. So maybe it's Prof who has hurt me. I meet with Faith. Faith has no idea who Prof is, whether even she exists. And I meet with the Faith, and the funny thing is like, hey, how you doing? Imagine Prof alinifanyia. So you're even wondering, who on earth is Prof? You know, I go to the restaurant, and the waiter is asking me for something, and I'm telling the waiter, unajua Prof even ndio alianza stew kwa sana. And the waiter is wondering, guy, who is this? So your information about the person who has hurt you intoxicates every situation you are in. You know, you talk to everybody, even those that have no idea what you are going through. You are telling them about the story. If you find yourself doing that, like you tell someone a story, excuse me, umeniambia huyo ni nani?
Anakaa wapi?
Huyo umeniambia ni nani? Then please just go for help. Just realize you are losing it. Hapa kumedhoka, you know. Yes, exactly. Because it's necessary, you know, for one to seek help. When you see yourself like you're in such like a situation, it's good to start going for therapy and seeking help.
And I'm liking what you're saying, Leverett, regarding the perpetuation of the symptoms.
Yes.
Because now you have moved from sadness to a point of you're having suicidal ideation. You're saying, I don't see the meaning of life again, you know. This is a person now who is having extreme symptoms of the loss, because we started with the loss. You lost. You can even lose your dignity. You can lose your sense of importance, your sense of direction, because you have lost. And therefore, other people are the ones that are going to see you, and now they are the signs they are seeing. They are not the symptoms. Now we call them the signs. That you're seeing the signs of a person who is almost giving up.
Yeah.
And there's something that when we started, Prof, you mentioned about when you experience a heartbreak, you know, you feel like you're being told you don't matter, you are not of value, you are garbage. So then this means that it does something to you. You know, it doesn't leave you the same. And here then comes the question, can one just heal from a heartbreak what we'd call naturally? Maybe just by, you know, they say time heals. So by taking a day at a time and seeing where it leads you, or then do they need to come in for counseling?
One of the things that we need to appreciate is that human beings would want to grow and would want to be significant. And Maslow's hierarchy of needs, in one of the needs, he talks about self-esteem. Now, when one has had a heartbreak, what is injured most is your self-esteem. That I don't have esteem anymore. I don't have a sense of worth anymore. Can one now heal naturally from that? Yes, but it requires a lot of deliberate work. People can say, I want to step out of this and go for a retreat so that I can reflect on this much more. Or I want to read the Bible so that it can help me to be able to address the issues that I am going through. When the Bible says, fear not, because I am with you, I am fearing, will I be of worth to anyone again? So you're using the Bible and you're using spirituality to address your situation. And there are people who go talking to themselves. I want to imagine, Faith, you have seen people like Leverett has moved out here. He has been hurt by me. And so he's going talking to himself. You know, lady, you know, when you're talking to yourself and you're talking with the hearts, and he's starting to talk about this woman who has really hurt him, he's working on it. By doing that, because he's removing it from the inside and putting it out there, and he can see it out there. Therefore, it is not going to be injuring him in the inside. Like if he swallowed and he said, okay, ni hivyo tu, anataka niwe garbage, ni sawa tu, anataka niwe a waste of space, ni sawa tu. Now that is a person who is repressing and who is drinking in the pain. But as long as they are talking, they are bringing it out there, they can use different strategies and different ways of taking it out there.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
But even as you mentioning about, talking it and bringing it out, it's reminding me of what Rev had said, that you meet with someone and every other thing they talk about is that one situation, that made them experience that heartbreak. Which then for me, I'd say, as much as there are these other ways of trying to heal yourself, if possible, seek counseling and professional help. Yeah.
Exactly, that's true. When you keep talking about one thing, it means you have not been able to move from it. You are fixated.
Yeah, preoccupied.
Preoccupied with that thing. It's the one that has occupied every space of your mind. And it means it is hurting you and it is not good for you. And that's why you need to go and talk about it, either with a counselor or because a counselor would help you, a therapist would help you to discuss about it, even if it's like telling you, what, who hurt you, it's so and so. Put them here on this chair and talk to them now so that you can start healing from that particular aspect. The only thing is that it's important for all of us to realize we all handle heartbreaks, heartaches differently. What hurts me may not hurt you girls, maybe nothing. A man losing a job probably could be a bigger heartbreak than losing a relationship. Him thinking he does not have an income, you may see that depressing a man. Yet a man could go through a divorce and he survives so well, and you're wondering what is happening here. Maybe a woman may lose the job and she's not worried. She's walking around nicely and okay. Yet a relationship, she could lose a husband and that really pushes her down badly. A child, anaweza anguka mtihani na usione amestuka, depending on where they are coming from and the kind of the backing they have even from their home. Maybe a child anaweza kuchekelewa. And that is a very bad heartbreak for the baby. When you atu walimchekelea, uone mpaka hataki kwenda shule cause alichekelewa. So one of the things that we all need to realize in the society, my heartbreak is my heartbreak. Don't dismiss it. Don't think it's nothing. No, it is something. Like the way the parents would look around and wonder, umeachwa na boyfriend? Boyfriend ni nini? Kwani tuliachwa na wangapi kabla tuolewe na tuoe? You went through your heartbreak, your pain. Let that child experience their pain. Help them to walk through that without, dismissing the pain or the heartbreak they're experiencing. And of course, like I said, besides that, talking about it a lot, there is also even the issue of withdrawal. You may see somebody who was very talkative or was warm, all of a sudden they have coiled back. Because maybe they said something and they were abashed, they got hurt. So they now, even when they're supposed to talk, they can't talk, they have coiled back. They have withdrawn. And their self-esteem may really get crushed. And that's very common. Or somebody who wasn't talking, all of a sudden something happens, and like we said earlier, goes on talking about it everywhere. That's also a symptom that heartbreak is affecting them in a bad way.
All right.
Yes.
There's something that both of you mentioned when we started, is that you can never get used to a heartbreak, which, has me thinking, what do you mean? 20-year-old would experience a heartbreak, maybe when they're 30, maybe when they're 50, and it's still valid. I think that's something I'd like us to touch on when we come back from the break. So dear viewer, do not go too far, because we are coming back with that. We look at what does it mean when we say you never get used to a heartbreak. So keep it right here. See you in a few. All right, welcome back to Transforming Families, and thank you so much for keeping it right here. Today we are talking about how to heal from a heartbreak in a healthy way, and promised you that we'll tackle this, and here we are. Prof, what do we mean when we say, one never gets used to a heartbreak? Does it mean that a 60-year-old would experience a heartbreak from the same thing or a similar thing that happened to her 20 years before. Yeah.
Right. Let me put it this way, that you don't get used to being hated.
Okay.
Yeah, because it pains and it hurts in the same way. Human beings have an orientation of wanting to be loved, wanting to be appreciated and validated because they feel credited. And therefore, when you are hated, it makes you ask a lot of questions. So when we are saying that no one gets used to a heartbreak, we are saying in the first place, it's not anywhere you want to get near to. Because it's like telling you you're not good enough. And so when you don't get used to heartache, it's because even those heartaches will be different by different people, having different levels and depths in terms of the hurt and the pain. And it makes, no one wants the pain. If you are told, all people who want pain come this direction, no one is going to go to that direction. Because pain makes you miserable. Pain, you do not know how to take it. So you don't get used to being betrayed. You don't get used to being hated. You don't get used to being disregarded, because our orientation as human beings is to want to be loved and cuddled and appreciated and affirmed so that we can feel we are well positioned.
Yeah, I hear you, Prof. Today, young people say when you experience a heartbreak, especially from a romantic relationship, oga norudi soko. Meaning, the intensity is not the same, because the first time maybe it was painful, you took months or probably years, but now, I mean, you've grown muscles, so just tafadhali, wake up, you're okay, go back as it is. Rev, what do you say about this? Is the intensity the same?
People will say oga urudi soko. That's true, you know, like rise up and go back to the market.
Yeah.
But it's also good to realize, especially today, there's a lot of living lie. We, especially the social media, there's a living lie.
It's true.
One will stand there saying, mimi nilioga nikarudi soko, but they're trying to convince themselves that it's okay, yet inside they are paining. That's why, like, the social media is good, but it's a very deceitful platform.
Yeah.
Nobody takes a photo of themselves, selfie, when they are crying and then sends on the and sends on the Facebook or puts it as their profile photo. So you're like, maybe you have a lot of pain and you're like, smile, and then you that's the photo you set out into the Facebook. Inizuri. You look for the best, you post it. But that is not the true emotion that you could be experiencing at that moment. We're in a wedding function. We stay simameni tupigwe picha. Even the person mwenye hakupata chakula, amefika imeisha, amefika kwa nyama akanyaganywa, keki ya chakula. When we come to take a photo, everybody, come on guys, smile, cheese. Yes. So everybody's like, let's just try, you get the photo.
Yeah.
That smile is not the true emotion that you're going through. Heartbreak is an emotional experience. And no emotion is like the other. If you are in a relationship today, and then let's use relationship issues. Here is a girl A and a boy X, they're in a relationship. The girl A, the relationship ends and she's in pain and she cries. She gets into another relationship. She might even hurt more in the next relationship when it breaks than the first one. Why? Because she thought she's experienced, she thought she's better. And she thought, hii relationship ingine imeisha kwa sababu sikufanya hii. So she goes into this other one so sure it can't break. I'll do what I never did in the other one. Then it fails. It becomes so hurtful. But now people will say that you experience because you are camouflaging the pain in this way. You cried when you were 18 old. Now you have gotten into another relationship at 25. Everybody is telling you wewe si mtoto. Wewe sasa ume experience. kwani si ulikuwa umeachwa na Johnny, sasa kuachwa tena na kama nini, si kama so you are feeling a lot of pain. Kwanza unasikia uchungu kuliko ya kwanza, cause you thought your experience, you thought you'll handle Kamau better than you did with Mutuko. Now Otieno comes your way and you are like, okay, say I handled Mutuko, I handled Kamau. Otieno, come to mama. I will
Baby, come.
Come baby, come. Utajua nimejua nyinyi wanaume nimewajua. So and you have all your guards up there and you are sure wewe utaniona. And I'm telling you, Otieno, by the moment Otieno hurts you, it will break you even more, because you thought you were experienced with Kamau, with Mutuko. Now again Otieno kwanza labda amekuhurt. So we find somebody who is at the age of 40, 30 something, a relationship has broken and they are paining. Because no emotional experience is like the other. Even when you think you are better off, no. Because now even as you get older, you are trying to even camouflage it more, because you do not want people to see you crying, see like you are hurting. Maybe you have children watching you. In the first relationship, you are a student. So there was no one watching, looking up to you. You had parents you are looking up to. So they helped you go through the emotion. Maybe the second, third, fourth, you have children looking up to you as a father or as a mother. You go through a heartbreak. You hit that gate, and it's like a social media experience. And you come, hi guys, how was your day? So it's like that social media where you are smiling at the camera. So that's what happens. So the kids or people around you will be saying, hata ya haikumuumiza Faith, kumbe hata Rev, hii haikumuumiza. But it is like a social media smiling at the camera. But inside, it's a heartbreak. Okay. No one heartbreak is like the other. So no one gets used to heartbreaks. Okay. If anything, they might become more painful with the time than they were before. You lose a job when you are young. You apply, you get employed again. You lose a job again, you are employed. You get a job. You turn 45 and beyond. The ages where some of us are no longer employable. We did advertise. We did advertisement a long time ago. And the age limit, we were even, hiring the ministers, the ongoing recruitment. The upper limit is 45 years. The lower limit is 25 years. So I am above 45. I can't apply. If I didn't have a call today, I wouldn't go saying I have a call to be a reverend. I no longer can do it. So you find like maybe you lost a job, you got another one. You have lost a job when you are at 45. 50, you cannot be, hardly can you get another job. You lost a job at 25, 26, you got heartbreak, lakini ukazoea. At 45, the responsibilities are more. When you lost a job at 25, you went back to yourself. Na labda ukalala kwa mama yako, baba yako. Sasa 45, una bibi, una watoto. Utaenda kwa nani? So it's more painful. What am I saying? You can never experience a heartbreak. I mean, you can never be used to a heartbreak because every heartbreak is unique. Okay. The circumstances, the environment, it is different from the other heartbreaks you may have had in the past.
Right.
Yes.
Let's go back to romantic relationships, which of course include marriage. When we talk about this, is there a way to end such a relationship, ensuring that your partner is not left with a heartbreak or a heartache?
They're still going to be left with a heartache, no matter how it is handled, but there is a way you give dignity to a person, or you dignify the person. Like, for example, young people who are into a relationship and you realize, I don't want to continue with this relationship because this person is having traits that I think are not compatible with who I am. And therefore, I would want to bring this relationship to an end. I am not feeling like taken care of by this person. This person seems to be very selfish in the way he or she handles issues, and it is always about him or her. But even when you realize that this person has their own unresolved issues, you don't complicate their issues by dehumanizing them. Okay. You still need to respect that person as a human being. As a Christian, you still need, you have a Christian duty to them to help them to be able to handle the situation in a better way. And therefore, there is a way in which you can break the news that are going to help the other person to be able to handle it in a better way. Or there is a way you can break the news in a way that makes this person completely destroyed by that. You can break your news that you don't want to continue with this relationship by saying, you know, I've gotten to a point where I'm feeling this relationship is not serving your interests or even my interests. And I am seeing like every time we are fighting, whenever we get into an argument and we start resenting each other and we separate and we go our different ways, I think it's time that we separated and we each asked ourselves, what kind of a relationship would give us contentment, or even we would be compatible with? What kind of traits can we be compatible with? So that I need to do my soul searching and you need to do your soul searching. You are a good person, Faith. Indeed, I admire you in many ways, but I'm coming to a level of thinking, let me let go of this relationship so that Faith can be able to find a mate who is going to meet her heart desires, and I too can do the same. You know, that kind of a conversational engagement with the person that you would want to live makes the other person feel, I am still respected as a human being. There are differences in here that are making us to separate, but I have been dignified by the person that I loved. And for those kind of people, you still can remain as friends, even as you have separated. You can even make it a cardinal rule that you're going to remain as friends, even as you're not going to be romantic friends. So you have removed it from the romantic level to the more platonic kind of a relationship. So you need to be skilled, and you also need to have the right mental frame to be able to deal with this relationship, and also know they don't have to have a relationship with you, neither do you have to have, it's not a must that you have to have a relationship with them, but they are going to remain human beings, and they are respectful in the eyes of their maker.
Okay.
Yeah, and to add upon that, you come to realization that the thing that brought us together, that we used to feel strongly about, we used to value, we no longer value them equally. We no longer see things from the same page. And so you get to an agreement or understanding that it is okay for us to go our separate ways, but you need help. Because one of you may be willing to stick in there because of the value in the relationship. Because you see, even love is energy transferred. And sometimes even when you lose the loved one, you find sometimes people crying, not just because the person has gone, but because maybe the person was a source of income. So there's someone who may stick in the relationship because there is some value attached to the relationship. And so they may be like, no, we can work it out, we can work it out. Not really because they're interested with the person, but because there's another value that is in that relationship. That's why that separation, so that it can be smooth and cordial, you need help. And that's why we have all these trained therapists around, so that they can be able to help you. And go to a qualified one. You know, don't just go to everybody who rises up in the morning and they call themselves counselors. And you know, to be a counselor, you need training. You need to have gone to school, you know, and sat under the authority of others, so that you can be able to help each other. I know a couple that separated, and they are very good friends. They had 2 kids, they separated many years ago, 2 or 3 up to now is almost 19 years. And the children are big, and they are very good friends. I still remember the lady saying, we are better friends with my ex today than when we were husband and wife. When we were husband and wife, we used to fight a lot. But today as friends, we are very good friends. You can call each other if you have, like, I have a breakdown, I need assistance, I can. The same thing the man says. So in such like a case, for you to be able to get to such a like a level, you must have had gone through hell and also handled the relationship in an extremely mature way. Yes.
And you see, they have an ability to disentangle themselves from negative emotions
Good.
in a very good way.
Yes.
There are people who are masters in resolving emotional problems,
Okay.
but there are people who are disastrous.
And they choose
Completely
to.
disastrous. Even when Reverend want to run away, watamshika too.
Yes.
Because they are very possessive.
Yes.
And they don't want to deal with the hurt and the pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Is there a difference between, I know we mentioned that every heartbreak or heartache is unique, but is there really a significant difference in the heartbreak you'd experience when you lose a relationship or when you lose someone that, you had a romantic relationship with, other than, these other heartbreaks could be employment, disappointment from a politician, and all that. Is there a difference?
There is, in the sense that they will give you different intensities in terms of the pain and hurt that you have, and also that your relationship to them in terms of meaning and purpose, they are different. When it comes to a romantic relationship, you are looking forward to becoming one with this person and doing life together. When it comes to a job, yes, you wanted to continue with this job because this job was going to give you a livelihood, So they are different. And yes, the pain is going to be there, but the pain is different because this one is more relational, but this one is about, work and what you're going to lose when you have lost work.
Yeah. And then to add upon what has been said by Prof, it's good to know that when the pain of losing a job can be replaced over time if you get another job. And it can easily even go that way. Sometimes it's because of maybe faithfully you have been working in a job, you have given your all, then probably some people are malicious and they sideline you. That can be pain. But you see, with the time you can deal with it and realize, by the way, I wasn't here to be loved. I am here to do what I need to do. But a romantic relationship, the pain, the heartbreak can be a little bit prolonged.
Okay.
And even sometimes can almost be a lifetime if you don't work on it. Because probably you got into a relationship and you got a baby. You got 2 babies. You part ways. Every time that child walks around life, they remind you of what happened. The child gets to a place that maybe they are graduating. And maybe they want their father or the mother in the picture. Now, probably if you did not resolve that relationship, and this fella has to be in your life, it is still very painful again. So the romantic relationship, depending on the level at which it was in, if not properly dealt with, it can drag you for years and years because of its nature. Because it's human beings involved. Sometimes romantic heartbreak can even drag you more than even heartbreak as a result of death. Okay. Because the moment somebody dies, you are at pain. You can heal and get over it. But the romantic relationship, if it had gone far, or depending on the level it was in, it can drag you for a very long time. Imagine if people had given dowry. Yeah. You have to think of whether to go back for the dowry. Not every dowry will be taken. Every time you drive that way, you remember, nilikuwa nimepeleka mahali ng'ambo ile. So the romantic relationships can sometimes take longer and be more painful, but every heartbreak is painful. And that's why we say seek help to be able to move on. Yes.
What would you say are the dangers of not getting professional help once you've experienced a heartbreak?
I'll let Prof say it, but I will say one of the challenges of not getting help is you remain fixated. You may not be able to move because you are timing on that relationship. If, for example, you have a baby, every time you want to get married, you remember the baby and you're almost not able to move on. You may also have the challenge, if you are not helped, you may have the challenge of fear. I may get into the next relationship and it may be like the other. So you'll carry the heartbreak over into every possible relationship. And that's why sometimes when you get out of a romantic relationship and you have a heartbreak, if you get into another one immediately, you know the rebounds thing? Most of the time, the rebounds doesn't work because you have carried the baggage from their former relationship into the new relationship, and it's very dangerous.
Okay.
Yes.
Prof?
Indeed, yeah. Because you can get into a rebound. And a rebound is compensating. Because I don't want to deal with the pain. It's too painful. And I don't want to face that pain. Then let me replace it. And that becomes disastrous because you have not thought through. You're looking for something just to hold on to so that you do not address the pain in the inside. So as Lev says, you can get into a situation of rebound because you don't sufficiently clean your house in the inside in regard to the hurt emotions. The other thing is something that he has said that I want to continue with, that is the unfinished business. Anytime that you have not totally resolved an issue, what happens is that it can make you make other poor decisions after that. Whether they are decisions of other lovers or they are decisions regarding you, that you may not give yourself the value you have. You can allow yourself now to be misused by other people because you're not thinking about yourself in a way that you value you. You're not doing that. But the other thing that is not okay when you haven't dealt with your issue is that you're not going to be able to actualize the way you wanted to actualize or to grow the way you wanted to grow. Remember, when it comes to dealing with that grief that comes with the heartbreak, it is not an event, it is a process. And that is why we cannot say what we were saying there before, that you can wake up, clean yourself a bit, and move on. Because you see, it is in the inside that where you have been broken, where you have been made not to believe in yourself. And therefore, it will take time, it will take a process for you to be able to eventually say, and now I'm healed, I can be able to move on. So there are so many dangers when you just cover it and imagine it is gone simply because you took a photo in the social media and you said, I am done with it. That's an event.
Yeah.
We are saying it's a process. You got to deal with it vicariously. And that is why you need a therapist. That's why you need a psychologist to help you to process and to process adequately and to be able to know, if I am moving forward, what are the mistakes that I did before that I don't want to commit again.
All right.
Exactly.
This has been such a wholesome discussion.
Yes.
I'm so glad we had it, and I believe and hope that you, dear viewer, you've been able to learn so much from this. So keep your comments coming on our social media pages. YouTube and Facebook is CAC TV Kenya. But before we close today's program, I know this is like a thing that we do now, and for me, I find it very important. Last message to someone who's watching, experiencing heartbreak at the moment, and they feel like this is the end of it all.
Thank you. Prof looks at me like she wants me to go. I would simply say, hurt people hurt others. So when you experience a heartbreak, deal with it. If you don't, you will easily find yourself being toxic and hurting others, even those that are innocent. Deal with your heartbreak before it becomes contagious to other people.
All right.
Right. I want to continue with what Lefred has said, that heartbreak is a woundedness of the soul. And a woundedness of the soul affects your spirituality. And your spirituality are your values and your beliefs. It is important, just like a boil, to make sure you deal with the heartbreak to a point you can feel, I have sufficiently dealt with it. Seek therapy for you to sufficiently deal with your heartbreaks.
Amen.
All right. Thank you all so much for today. Really such an honor to have you both, and to just for you to share your wisdom and input on this matter. God bless you all. And thank you to dear viewer for tuning in. Ensure that this video gets to as many people as possible so that we can all learn and we can all heal as well. Remember, hurt people hurt others. So work on yourself and work on your healing. Till next time, my name is Faith Kaulu. Thank you so much for tuning in to Transforming Families. Goodbye.